AL.com brings us this update. Huntsville police officer William Ben Darby was convicted of murder for shooting and killing Jeff Parker, a suicidal man, 3 years ago. A Madison County jury found Darby guilty after about 2 hours of deliberations on Friday morning, returning a verdict that left local police in the first stages of shock.
Officer William Darby claimed self-defense when he shot and killed Parker. However, the jury convicted him of murder, meaning they didn't believe Parker was an imminent threat to Darby and other officers.
Circuit Judge Donna Pate ordered that Darby be taken to the Madison County Jail from the courtroom. He was released on a $100,000 bond just over 2 hours later, records show.
I hope that it was not in vain.
Bill Parker is still mourning the death of his brother Jeffrey Parker, but hopes it can make a difference.
I hope that Jeff's death results in better mental health responses.
Madison County District Attorney Rob Broussard this morning welcomed the verdict. "I'm not saying it was a pleasant day," he said at a press conference, "but the facts bore out there was nothing justified about this encounter."
Madison County District Attorney Robert Broussard says he doesn't believe there's a lack of training at the Huntsville Police Department.
Nobody out there will deny that they are dangerous situations or potentially dangerous situations. And there's no denying that the individuals who respond to these kind of calls should be admired for that.
He believes each mental health call is different, but doesn't believe Officer William Darby's actions on April 2018 followed training or policies and procedures.
He was not justified in any way what he did to Mr. Parker.
Darby's defense attorney, Robert Tootin, said he looks forward to appealing the case and believes the verdict won't stand.
No, I do mind. The dude minds. This will not stand, you know? This aggression will not stand, man.
Tootin said at a press conference the jury got it wrong.
It will affect every law enforcement agency in the state and how they protect the citizens and how they respond to calls with people with a gun.
Darby was on duty when he shot and killed Jeffrey Parker on April 3rd, 2018. Parker called 911 that afternoon and said he was armed and suicidal. When the first two officers got to Parker's West Huntsville home, they found him sitting on a couch with a gun to his own head. The first officer, Janisha Pegas, testified against Darby and told the jury that she was de-escalating the situation before he got there. Darby testified that he shot Parker in defense of himself and other officers because he feared Parker might shoot them. Body camera video showed Darby grab a shotgun from his patrol car and sprint to the house. Less than a minute later, he shot Parker in the face. Darby testified that he had to take over the situation from Pegas, a senior officer, because he believed she was putting herself in danger by talking to Parker.
Huntsville police say they are working to increase CIT officers or officers with crisis intervention training throughout its department. The 40-hour certification training teaches officers how to respond to mental health crises. Some who go through the international certification class also participate in continuing education throughout the year. They also receive any updated training material to review. All other officers receive at least 16 hours of CIT training to get a basic knowledge on how to de-escalate a mental health crisis. However, the defense says otherwise, bringing in the head of training at the Huntsville Police Department. He testified Darby acted according to protocol and did nothing wrong. Darby's attorney, Robert Tootin, says everyone is now paying attention to this case and the possible repercussions it will have on other agencies.
Darby walked up to the house and shouted for Pegas to point your effing gun at him. Darby repeatedly shouted for Parker to drop his gun. Darby fired the fatal shot 11 seconds after entering the house, according to video.
Less than a minute after Darby shows up at Parker's front door, as he was the third responding officer, yelling for Pegas to point her gun at Parker and for Parker to drop his gun, Darby fires a shotgun, hitting Parker in the face, killing him. Darby's body footage also shows him placing handcuffs on Parker's lifeless body. Now, the prosecution also called Officer Justin Beckles as well as HPD investigator Josh Vogels to the stand earlier today.
In closing arguments, Tootin told the jury that Darby had to shoot. He said if Parker had decided to turn his gun on the police, it would have been taken twice as long for the officers to return fire. Madison County prosecutors saw the case differently. Tim Douthit, an assistant district attorney, argued that Darby killed Parker because the man didn't follow his orders to drop the gun. Tim Gann, Madison County's chief trial attorney, said that Darby had violated his oath to serve and protect. Gann told the jury an innocent man was murdered. He called for help, and he got Ben Darby. The Huntsville City Council voted to dedicate $125,000 in public money for Darby's criminal defense.
There are currently 75 officers who are fully CIT certified, and the Huntsville Police Department actually expects to add 10 more officers by next month. Now, I did ask the Huntsville Police Department whether Officer Darby or any other officers at the scene in 2018 were CIT certified. They told me to reach out to the city, and I'm still waiting to hear back.
I'm going to put a link to this story in the description box below. If you want to go click it, you can read the whole thing. I'm going to try to find the body camera video if I can. But apparently here you had this guy with a gun to his head. The senior officer is talking him down. She's de-escalating. She's got this guy listening. And in comes Wyatt Earp. Point your gun at him, you effing... And 11 seconds later shoots him in the face because he won't drop his gun. Point it. Well, he could point it at us. Well, he's pointing at himself because he wants to die. Well, you gave him his wish. Now you get your wish. You get to go to PC with all the other inmates. I'm kind of confused at this story, though. They said he was convicted of murder and then released on bond. Was that until sentencing? Is he going to be the next fugitive? I don't know, man. Convicted of murder and released on bond. That's weird. But what gets me, here's the thing, and I'm going to close with this. The Huntsville City Council voted to dedicate $125,000 in public money for his criminal defense. All you in the city of Huntsville got to pay for this cop's defense. How about that? He didn't have to pay for his own lawyer. You all paid for it. Yeah. How about that? It's good to be a cop, right? Well, unless you get convicted of murder, then of course you're going to prison. But, you know, he didn't even have to pay for his own lawyer. So if they win on appeal and it gets overturned, this cop didn't pay for a lawyer. He gets off, probably gets his job back. Because if you read the story, and I didn't go through it, but you can click the link, the police department and them backed this officer. He's not a murderer. He was protecting the other officer. Unbelievable, man. Unbelievable. How not only law enforcement allows these idiots to roam the streets, but they support, defend, condone, and advocate their behavior. Obviously, the prosecutor didn't condone or advocate it, and the judge didn't either when he said, yeah, you're guilty. The jury found you guilty. Thank you, jury, for at least finding the guy guilty of murder. What do you all think? Let me know in the comment section below. Community Leo Watch, watching Leos. That's law enforcement officers, to include those that have the city pay for their lawyers, and from coast to coast.